What it do, homies? It's your boy Dave, and I'm back today. We out here with some more League of Legends cinematic stuff. This time we're checking out Call of Power. Now, I didn't necessarily need to go and do any research before because I got a kind of a brief description down here. It says that Ryze scours Runeterra for fragments of a forgotten past, each step bringing him closer to incredible power and terrible ruin. You know, great possibility, great power comes great responsibility kind of stuff. Anyways, I'm super excited to jump into this one. This one's a little bit longer, right, than the songs we're doing. So this must be like one of those things where they not fully, but like partially flesh out a story. Super interested. Let's go ahead, shut up, and turn it up. Very excited.
There's a great power in this world.
Never mind.
Ancient and forgotten.
The sound design is what I was going to say.
It transformed fields of bare stone into wonders of life and magic.
You know, that's awesome right there, right? I don't know if any of you guys kind of pay attention to like subtle details when it comes to cinematics and stuff like this, but do you see how immensely our sense of scale was altered by that? How beautifully they started that off, right? Because seeing it from the top, right, it looks like a tree. You would have just assumed that it was just super zoomed in on the tree and everything. Until we get down to here, do you like, yo, that was huge. I love that, man. That stuff's intentional, but okay.
And magic. It carved mountains, drained oceans, and burned skies.
The sound design, the footsteps, the jingling.
It never faded.
See, that's why stuff like that is important. Why that sound design is important, because without that sound design, we would have simply just thought that those were soft leaves, right? But now we got a sense of hard leaves, and that's interesting. Like, what? Why do things sound like glass?
It never faded. It only grew stronger.
That bass.
Hidden away, waiting to be found.
Feels like I'm watching a movie, y'all. This is pretty awesome.
The stronger it grows, the louder it calls.
Orchestrated music in the background, that sense of horror and wonder. That wind sound is pretty cool.
Others seek to claim this power for strength, balance, control. I was weak then. Naive. So I vowed. Never again.
Oh, okay, hold on. Action. So again, storytelling, right? Not phrasing, but just pacing everything, right? If you got a story to tell in like 5 minutes and 28 seconds and everything, obviously you can sit there and you can write out a whole entire full script, right? But honestly, there are constraints, right? There are deadlines, there's stuff that you got to meet. So when they're doing this animation, you definitely want all this script out, fleshed out before you get into the animation. But you got to decide, like, how much information are you going to show us before we eventually get to this scene right here, right? Because we need to have an understanding of, at least a partial understanding of what's going on here. So I like to think about at the beginning, just how much information did they leave out, right? and we got kind of like the watered down version of that. That stuff's very important. They pay people big bucks for shortening long narrations of what's going on. Because I guarantee you, well, I can't say guarantee, but I like to think that almost a for sure possibility that even though that's what we got within the first minute 30 or so before we got here, that the script for that probably was way longer, and somebody went through and said X that out, X that out, X that out, X that out. Because when it comes to these cinematic productions, I'm saying this stuff costs money, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. You don't got time. You got time to waste. So this stuff's important. And now I got an understanding, right? He's pretty much talking about, it looks like he may have either gathered the power and looks like he may have either gathered the power and it unleashed itself, or he tried to use the power and it ended up destroying everything. But that's just awesome. Okay.
So I vowed. Never again.
He's like a skinnier Kratos. No. Got mind blasted. Yo, I'm telling you, y'all, it's this sound design. You want to know what's the greatest thing about what's happening is that it's not necessarily being delivered to us on both channels, right? In order to give us that more immersive kind of experience. I don't know if you guys are watching this on your phone, you probably can't hear it. But if you're watching this reaction on headphones, you already hear it, right? You hear the different type of sound effects switching between left and right to give us that immersive sound. This is where you're mixing your audio engineers come in, right? This is what they be at the computer, like slaving away and trying to make sure it matches up with everything. That's a hard job. I just want to let you know that I appreciate that. I'm an amateur producer myself. The stuff is difficult. I appreciate it, okay? I just want to let you know, if no other reactor has remarked on the hard work and the sound design that goes into making this stuff sound believable, you heard it right here, okay? You're doing an excellent job. Thank you. That boy head gone. Chain lightning attack.
Few can resist the call of power.
What's Ganondorf doing there? That's Zelda Ganondorf. That was his name, right? It's like a oh my goodness. He kind of look like Quan Chi. Taste of your own medicine, I suppose. You know, the orchestrated, not orchestrated, but the angelic kind of calls and stuff back there, when you guys hear the chanting and everything, generally the only time I hear something like that would be in, like, if they're talking about somebody that's like omnipotent or like a god or something like that, or so, obviously something epic has just happened, but I think that's too much of a broad, like, oh yeah, something epic that happened, that's what I have. More specifically, I hear it sometimes when you've overcome like very, very great odds, like almost as if he was not supposed to defeat that thing, right? So now he's like this not all powerful person, but he has done a really, really great feat or whatnot, while they have kind of those choirs and stuff in the background. And of course, with the light shining down, right, that's when we usually see that something holy or something like super epic or something grand has happened. So that was interesting.
Many say I hold too much power.
was a flashback or a premonition.
Others say
He's putting it back.
I can't be trusted.
Okay.
Maybe they're right. But the only power I truly have is the strength to let it go.
It's the choir again. Yo, these trailers is fire, man. I'm not too sure. It says Call of Power, so I'm not too sure what the purpose of this was, if not to just kind of just flesh out some of the stories. Because I know their lore is huge and everything. But these are freaking amazing, man. I can't believe that. I mean, look at all this stuff that I got to look at. Like it's just like it's like a gold mine of stuff, right? Now, that was interesting what he said at the end. Like the only power I have is to let it go. As with anything, when it comes to addiction, right, letting it go is the hardest thing, and that does make you stronger if you could. So it looks like what was happening was he was flashbacking to all the things and stuff. Maybe he got the power and whatnot, and then everybody craved it and or what you can. And then he was like, all right, just causing too much destruction. But you know, we've seen it in a bunch of movies like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, where you know you want that power and you can't let go of that control and everything. And what ends up happening is you start bargaining with yourself by saying, hey, we can use it, but what if we do this? What if we do that? But that almost never works out the way that you intend it to be. So like he said, it requires great power to let it go, and that's what he did. And that takes a whole lot of spirit. So amazing pacing here. Sound design is just super epic. Everything about this. I went through a whole lot of character lookalikes. So for a minute, I called him Kratos, and then I think I called him Quan Chi, especially when he had those sorcerer things around him and everything. I don't know. I like to have fun with these type of stuff, but all right, you guys know we're going to continue to keep doing this. That's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe. Dave's out.